If you're experiencing shoulder pain from sitting at your desk for long periods of time throughout the day, you're not alone. This mouse shoulder pain can occur from individuals who sit at their office chair for long periods of time throughout the day. But the good news is there's some specific things that we can do to alleviate that pain and help it from never coming back again. Stick with me. We're going to go through some of those things that we can try right now. First, we're going to try this exercise. It's called the Codman's exercise. So all you'll do is we'll pretend that the right shoulder is the one that's giving me pain. That's most typical as people use their mouse with their right arm. So that's going to be the arm that is typically most common with mouse shoulder. But the exercise that we'll do is with our left hand, we're going to put it on our knee. And then with our right arm, our arm that's in pain, we're just going to gently dangle it down kind of like by our feet and relaxing through our entire shoulder joint, our elbow, and our wrist. There's going to be no active muscle contraction at all. It's just going to be dangling in front of us. First, we're just going to go counterclockwise for about 10 reps here, and then you should have that shoulder is kind of like a dead shoulder. It's just going to be hanging in front of you. Provide a little bit of traction to that area so that there's not as much pain sensation in the shoulder capsule. And then next we'll go clockwise just to get another range of motion to alleviate some of that pain. You can kind of move your torso a little bit just to be able to get that movement in your shoulder. And then we'll go up and down next just to get another added range of motion, another added plane of movement to alleviate that shoulder pain. And then we can go side to side as well, and that can help with alleviating that pain. So we want to try those different ranges of motion, those different planes of movement, just to be able to get multiple directional movement to alleviate that pain. Next, we want to fix our posture. So we're in a neutral upright posture. We're not unbalanced and leaning forward in any particular direction or causing any sort of dysymmetry in our posture that could be leading to some of that shoulder pain. So the first thing we're going to do is a shoulder retraction exercise. So for this exercise, we can sit in our chair and we're going to keep our bottom back in our chair as far as we can. You can rest your arms or your hands on your armrest or on your lap, and then you're just going to squeeze your shoulder blades together. Hold that squeeze for about 5 seconds, and then you're just going to relax. And then you can do that again. Hold that squeeze for about 5 seconds, and then you'll relax. And we can perform about 10 of those. You could do 2 to 3 repetitions, but this is a nice strengthening exercise just to get our shoulders in a better neutral posture so that our posture is a little bit more upright and we're not reaching forward quite as far, which can be causing some of that shoulder pain. The next exercise we'll do is a chest stretch. So we want to stretch the structures in the front, in our chest area, because when we're sitting with rounded shoulders and leaning forward with forward head, those structures can get excessively tight when we're kind of typing or sitting like this, looking at our computer monitor. That can be leading to shoulder pain type symptoms that we don't want. So we can do a stretch right here in our chair as well. So if you have some armrests, you can place your hands on the armrest. If you don't have armrests, you can also use the seat pan. You can kind of grab onto the seat pan to the bottom here, but you're just going to take your hands onto the armrest. You're going to incorporate that retraction that we just did, bringing our shoulders back, and we're just going to push our chest forward, and we're going to hold this stretch for about 20 seconds. You can do about 20 to 30 seconds, and you should feel a nice stretch in the front muscles here of your chest just to get those muscles a little bit loosened up. And then you can relax, and we can repeat this stretch 2-3 times, holding for 20 to 30 seconds each stretch. And we can do this stretch every hour on the hour, or we can do it a couple times a day just to be able to loosen up some of those structures in the front of our chest. The next exercise we want to try to do is working on our shoulders. So sometimes when our shoulders are hiked up like this, and if we're typing or if we're reaching, this can cause tension in our neck and shoulder area, which can lead to headaches and some of that shoulder pain that we're experiencing. So we want to try to actively depress our shoulders just as a cue for our body not to get into that shoulder shrug position. So we want to depress our shoulders down and hold that depression for about 5-10 seconds, as you can see in the back here, and then we'll relax. So we're just going to depress our shoulders down, hold that for about 5-10 seconds, and then you can relax. We'll do about 10 of this exercise, and this can also be a depression and retraction exercise like we did earlier, so you can combine the first exercise and this exercise together. This will allow us to get in that neutral upright posture, so we're not leaning forward too far, we don't have rounded shoulders. We're training our body to be in an upright posture, allowing us to alleviate some of that shoulder pain and ensure that it doesn't come back again, because we're able to maintain that neutral upright posture with the strength of our back muscles and the stretching of our front chest muscles. And if you're getting value from this content, consider dropping a like or tipping a coffee. It really helps support the channel. And speaking of our posture, we want to do a posture check just to ensure that we're in an upright posture. So a lot of the times when we have mouth shoulder pain, we're usually reaching our right arm too far forward, so we're causing that pain. Our arm is for long periods of time throughout the day reaching in a position that's outside of our center of mass. So we want to bring our keyboard and our mouse closer to us and maintain a neutral upright posture. So we want to keep our ear, shoulder, and our hip in a straight line while we're sitting. Or as close as we can. We want to ensure that our posture is upright and we're not overreaching towards particular objects on our desk. We want to ensure that our chin is not in a forward position like this. We want to have it tucked just a teeny bit, just so that we have that straight line maintained throughout the day. And maintaining that neutral posture is going to allow us not to get in unbalanced positions and postures, which could be causing some of that shoulder pain. So you just want to keep an eye on that. And these exercises that we did earlier will help train our body to be able to maintain that posture throughout the day. And our desk setup is a big portion of maintaining that neutral upright posture. So keeping our keyboard within our center of mass here. We don't want to be reaching too far forward. If we're reaching like this with our arms, that could be contributing some of that shoulder pain as well. So we want to try to bring our keyboard closer to us, have about a 90-degree bend in the elbow, maybe a little bit more is fine. And then with our mouse, we want to ensure we're not reaching too far in the front, to the side, or like behind us. We want to ensure that it's right next to the keyboard, and that's going to help minimize some of that shoulder pain. And then if you have like a keyboard pan or something underneath your desk, or if your mouse is underneath your desk, we want to try to minimize the amount of time that our arm or our hand is lifting from different planes. And that could be causing shoulder pain as well, because we're straining that shoulder. We're constantly picking up and down. Our upper trap muscle here in our neck that connects into our shoulder can get strained from excessive movement in that direction. So if you're able to try to keep your mouse and your keyboard on the same plane, that will ensure that we're not overreaching in any particular plane of motion with our hand and our shoulder, and can help us maintain that upright neutral posture we were talking about earlier to help us not have shoulder pain, which is the goal. Check out this video here. It's a deep dive on how to stretch those chest muscles in the front, and I'll see you over there.